Today is Sunday, September 20th, 2020. And my name is Rodney Ifill, and we're going to take a look at an art movement today by the name of Dada. So stay tuned, and we'll have a look at this when we come right back. Can't wait to see you. Welcome back to my channel. There are many art movements throughout the history of art, such as Impressionism, the Baroque period, the Renaissance period, the Byzantine period. Today's movement, however, will take a look at Dada, spelled D-A-D-A. And like most movements, it was an art movement which had its differences with established norms and practices within the world. As a matter of fact, it rebelled against World War I, and it also had its difference with established institutions and norms and social ways of being. For example, it rebelled against the concept of art world, and you will see me speaking about that in one of my previous videos. Now, in terms of Dada, it was one of the real honest movements to really take within context the social, political, economic movements within its day. It was very popular around 1916 in Zurich, Switzerland, and in New York in the United States of America. And that is where it really became quite popular as a movement, and it sought to challenge those norms that we would normally see in society, those established practices in terms of the academy, where persons had to go to formal schools to train or accept standard normal practices that were established already within the world of art. And it also sought to disrupt in a way and step outside of those movements in terms of challenging the said very established norms and practices by kind of disrupting the space. And a classic example of this, which came much later on, more or less in the third part of the century, was the movement which was developed by Marcel Duchamp when he put the urinal arm up there, and I would have mentioned that also in another video. And that is just one example really of the potency of Dada in terms of its rebellion against that. A quieter form which Dada would have influenced as well was Surrealism, but Surrealism was a little more tamed, to more or less say, than the concept of Dada. And we will have a look at Surrealism in a future video. But however, in terms of looking at Dada, it would have sought to bring social attention and set the precedent for the established, what we call conceptual art today. It would have broken the shackles of the tradition, and it would have paved the way for persons to look at art and artists to express themselves and art in quite a different and radical way. So the importance of these movements are very significant, and you see them written in many history books and spoken on in many universities and established universities, and even within the everyday life, because what they would have established would have been to challenge established norms within society. They would have broken established practices as well, and they would have opened up a way that persons would have perceived the art world differently. It didn't have any particular stylistic principles though, like other movements, but Dada was mainly strong for bringing to the forum the normal elements that you would see in society that you wouldn't take or look at as art. Like, who would put a urinal, as Marcel Duchamp did, into an exhibition space? Because, as I would have mentioned in my previous video, a urinal was used to be a practical function in a male's bathroom and not in a museum space. So by transitioning that object into another space, it brought a different meaning to the interpretation of that object, and had society to look at that object in terms of their interpretation and its relevance in quite a different way, actually as art now, because the space now would have been transformed. So these are really brilliant movements in terms of bringing to the forum a different way and means of looking at art and interrogating art and challenging art, and it is responsible for having us arrive at where we are today in our sensibility and approach towards art and our understanding and support of it. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for engaging in this brief discourse with me in regards of that Art Movement Dada. As I mentioned, I would like to look at surrealism in an upcoming video. And I would like to take this opportunity to encourage you to click on the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. And feel free also to share your thoughts on what I've discussed, that we can all learn from each other, because I am in a learning curve. I don't profess to be an expert by all means, but I have a passion and love for art, cultural studies, history. And I like to use this forum to engage persons or enlighten younger persons indeed to look at these movements and see how they impact your lives, especially if you're involved in a particular discipline. So I want to take this opportunity to wish you a wonderful week and a safe week as well, and look forward to seeing you next week as I present my next video on another term. So take care. Bye for now.